Okay, so for our library cafe, we decided to call it the Java J Cafe, and my name's Josh McMahon.
I'm Alec.
I'm Tommy Kuhn.
So this was our initial proposal, and as you can see, we had it crammed in the tower here. It was a little small. It's just a zoomed up version, but there's that wall there. And our new design, we decided to pull the wall down just so we would have a lot more room here, and then this part here would be the area for the workers with the countertop here and just a little kitchenette type in the back. But these tables here, they're just, right now, we decided to put in the ones that are just in the library, so that they could reuse them. But if they wanted to in the future, they could get new tables for students to sit at.
Okay, so this is a picture of the High Library taken from the outside, obviously. So as Josh said, the location of our library is right here, looking from the outside. Okay, so the benefits of this location. It utilizes the big amount of natural light. So as you can see from the other picture and a little bit from here, there's very big windows in that tower, and there's a lot of natural light that comes through, and you'll see pictures from the inside with the natural light in a minute. It's also in a convenient place. It's right next to the main lobby and the main doors. So students can come in, and if they're going to do work, they can just grab a bite to eat real quick and then go do their work in the other rooms. They don't have to walk around the entire library just looking for a coffee or a bagel. And it's also located next to the big tables, like Josh said. So we're going to have a sitting area with tables, but they can also go outside of our cafe and sit at the big tables right outside the cafe. And then the fireplace. The fireplace is also in that sitting room as well. So it gives off a nice ambiance for the people studying. This is the pictures of sunlight on the High Library taken at 2 o'clock and 5 p.m. At 2 o'clock, the sun is just starting to go down, obviously from the west side. And then at 5 p.m., the sun is, it went down a lot more. And then here's the picture of the sun, the natural sunlight on the inside of the library. So as you can see, the shades are down halfway, and there's still a lot of natural light coming through the windows. So when the shades are all the way open, you can tell that there's a lot of natural light coming through. And then we realized that we can channel the natural light even more by using shiny metallic objects and appliances. So like a refrigerator case, whatever you call that thing, we can use one of those. We can use a shiny refrigerator, and we can use a shiny trash can and a shiny coffee maker. So this way the light can bounce off those objects and light up the room even more, or it could bounce off the objects and heat up the place even more. Oh, can you do that one time? I forgot to mention, we also want to use a light colored paint if we are going to repaint it too, just because it's just more reflective. It adds even more light.
Alright, some issues to consider during construction are first, the biggest issue overall is the archives of Elizabethtown College are located right under the proposed location for the cafe. So there are some options either for relocation of the artifacts, but that may be a little bit costly. And also you could do like reinforcements to the original plumbing to try to reduce any leaks or cracks in the pipes over the winter. And the other one would be completing the cafe construction within the time requirements. They're looking to put it in over a winter break of next year, so it's around a month, so it's a short time though. Alright, so post-construction, some things that we thought would be some noise to a quiet library would be the blenders, alarms, and kitchen appliances, and then dishwashers, refrigerators, and dirty dishes clanging after students give back their plates, and spills and crumbs that are spilled on the floor. So we've decided, you'll see later on the floor we chose to put in, and also students that would be talking and chatting and having conversation in the cafe. So our solutions to these are first, after going through the suites catalog that we saw online, we chose to pick a glass wall that goes on the outside of the cafe. So for people coming into the cafe, there's a clear view in to see what it looks like, so it's more appealing to people to come in rather than just a dry wall and just a door. And glass is noise proof and soundproof, so when you're outside of the wall, you can't really hear students that are chatting inside of the cafe. For the floor, what we're going to do is we're going to put like an acoustic layer over the original like baseboard, which is usually just like a wood plyboard. Or so it's going to go. It's usually nailed or glued. So this sheet will be either we can choose glue or nails. It depends, whatever construction chooses. And then we're going to use a hardwood floor for the so it's easier to clean up spills and drinks and that are dropped from the ground. For the ceiling, we're going to use a plastic ceiling tile. Chose this because in a cafe you have blenders and drinks being made, and if the blender ever comes up and the drink goes onto the ceiling, it's easy to clean, and they're also noise reduction, so people studying on the second floor won't be interrupted by the blenders and the coffee machines in the cafe. So the cost of our cafe, it's relatively cheap. We have a budget of $100,000. But with our cafe, it's going into an already original space in the library. We're not removing any walls. We're not cutting new areas. So the construction we have around $21,000, and the supplies for the coffee shop, like with machines and fridges and ovens, are around $10,100. So for a total cost of $31,100.
All right, so these are just some of the rendered views from our Revit. And this is just a 3D view looking down in onto the tables and back in the kitchen area. This is looking directly into the kitchen area, just a small sink in the fridge. This, like we said in our initial proposal, we kind of just want it to be one of those like clear kind of soda fridges that you see at a convenience store or something, so that people can see it and say, you know, I want that, and get it and go. And this is just kind of a view of the countertop and microwave toaster oven, because we picture this as more of a pre-made get and go type thing than having an oven and making fresh new stuff. This is a view directly from the glass door entrance to the back kitchen area. And this is one last view if you were sitting at a table looking across. You see the two, there's 4 TVs, 2 on each side for the library to do whatever they want with. But that's about it.
Any questions?
So you mentioned a glass wall. Where would that go in the design?
You want to go back to that?
Go back to like the So this is just like the tower area, right where those tables are in the library, right outside of the tower. That I guess you could say the end of that wall, the end of that area right there. If you picture that just closed off.
We're basically just making a new room on that outside.
As far as the space utilization in the existing library, did you consult at all with the library or give any consideration to how that space is used now and what the impacts of choosing this location might be on other events or things that you know, are traditionally held in that space in the library?
I mean, over the course of the year, I've been to a few lectures that have been in there, and students have, I mean, there's not a lot of, I mean, a cafe would be kind of nice because you can move the tables and you can still have a lecture in there. It's not like we're completely ruining anything that's already going on in that space.
And there are still a lot of meeting rooms that people can still have meetings or lectures in around there.
They also have those, I forget what they call them, this fake fireplace nights. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I mean, I think if they put the cafe in there for those fake fireplace nights, it'd make it nice too.
I think what it's already used for also kind of goes along with what a cafe is, where students gather and chat. It's not really like a study area. I mean, that's more, I think, for the upper levels of the library.
Did you give any consideration to the equipment that might be needed in the cafe itself?
With the coffee
And
machines.
what they would be serving?
Yeah,
that's
I
what-
mean, so far I think we have an espresso machine, a coffee machine, blenders, grinders, and fridge, a pastry window, and I think a soda fountain we might put in there.
I think your estimate might be a little light in that regard. Yeah. Based on some things we've heard about one of those machines that Starbucks uses, can run you about $20,000, so, yeah.
So the overall concept, is this a study area, is it an entertainment area? It's an area for presentations. You mentioned television screens, so I'm wondering why television screens?
Yeah, I think we just pictured it as a place where people can just, come in, grab a bite to eat, sit down for a little bit, and then get right back to studying. We have TVs there just in case they get bored or something, and they just want to wait around and take their mind off studying, I guess. So, I guess that. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, I guess that's it.
I think it could be used for a little bit of everything. I mean, I don't think there's one certain thing that it has to be used for. It could be pretty versatile.
You said it can seat 30?
About 45
45.
occupancy.
Where's the fireplace?
In the library, it'd be right there. It's on wheels though, right?
Yeah, you can just move it around and plug it in
There you
wherever you
go.
want, really.
Oh, okay. It's one of those, huh?
One of those, yeah.
Yeah.
I love your idea to capture all of the natural light in the space and using the reflective appliances and things with part of sunlight. So when you put the glass wall there to sort of enclose that space, and then you have that sunlight pouring in, I don't know if this is in your purview, but do you have to make any HVAC adjustments or any type of heating or cooling revisions to that space?
Possibly, I'd say.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I guess it can get pretty warm, especially in the summers when the sun's shining so brightly on the reflective appliances. We get pretty warm. But yeah, I don't know. I guess if you just open a window, the hot air will just flow right back out, or I don't know.
Yeah, but I'd be curious, because if you glass it off, it encloses the space, and it almost creates the opportunity for a lot of heat coming in and enclosed space, so it doesn't, there's no room for it to escape, or, so it probably would impact the HVAC, I would think.
I know a couple groups have the glass wall, and as I was sitting here, I was just thinking, sunlight pouring in, I wonder if that does that affect.
That's a good point. That's definitely something to consider.
It is the north side of the building, though, so that's something to consider, so.
Yeah,
North and west.
So,
I'd like to, I think you guys did a really good job of progressing your thought process with your concept of looking at it and realizing it wasn't big enough. And then, taking into consideration existing conditions, what's happening below it, what some issues might be for that. Looking at different materials for different purposes. One thing I think is a little backwards is you've taken, and I don't know, are there no windows on that corner, or are they just not in the model?
This side right here,
Yeah.
no, I don't think there's any
Okay.
windows there.
So the way this is laid out is you have one window for however many students are going to be in the space. You've got all the prime views and windows for the people working in the area. So looking just spatially, I would recommend perhaps the right-hand corner where you boxed it in is maybe the kitchen area. And then students can either have, maybe the left side is a quiet area with no windows and they can focus if they're in a study group or something. And then if people want to socialize, you could put something up top there. You might even do another glass partition between them or a partial thing, some sound barriers or something like that. From a mechanical standpoint, though, based on the loads of all the equipment, there'll be more beefed up mechanical needs over where the equipment is. But I like there's a lot of different things that you've touched on. Have you given any thought, or has there been any look at like sustainability or LEED or life cycle materials or anything like that?
Yeah, we're not quite too sure. I mean, we have, when we were coming up with this design, we chose this location because it had like big windows and a lot of natural light coming in. So I assume we would get a lot of LEED credit from that aspect, but other than that, yeah, there's not much other LEED stuff, I guess.
Where did you put the fire exit that was there in the stairwell that was over to the left there? Could you point out that bay that it was in to the left where the fireplace is actually a stairwell, right? So, yeah. It's that upper left-hand bay between those, that grid. I'm not sure you can just remove a fire exit and the stairwell. So.
I guess when we were just designing this design, I guess we took out the wall by accident.
Yeah, I think you're actually okay. If you just sort of redraw or
Add the wall.
rebuild that
Yeah.
staircase back in, the wall, we just done this to a great degree. The wall can go to the wall where the staircase and the exit exists. And people just have to exit the cafe and then go through the emergency exit door, which is on the,
I think you'd still have plenty of space.
It would work,
Yeah,
yeah.
because there's lots of space there.
Yeah.
You'd have to have the signage to make sure.
yes. And I understand where-
Did you look up noise reduction coefficients or sound transmission? We had an acoustics expert come
That's,
with the glass panel. Did you look at actual ratings of noise reduction and?
I know I did on the flooring, but I forget what it was off the top of my head. Because we got all these off of the acoustics reduction out of the Suites catalog.
Mhm.
And I know I looked them up, but I forget what they were, to be honest.
Okay.
Just curious, what was the cost of that glass wall?
I think it was around $3,000.
Any other questions? Thank you.